The other day I managed to sneak in there without the guy knowing. There's one thing that's missing around here. I didn't bring my Speedos, and this is where Elvis Presley played.
It was always a dream of mine to be like a name actor.
There were 5 different cinemas to choose from.
I would like to wake up screaming.
Phra Khanong is a great compromise between the messy layout of On Nut and the potential snobbery of, say, Tonglo or Ekamai. It's retained this old school character around here, despite the development, the high number of foreigners, the noise and the traffic, and that is why I like it. Phra Khanong has a bit of a cinematic history. I'm standing in front of the old Phra Khanong Theatre. This is where you came to see concerts and watch movies, and this is where Elvis Presley played when he came to Bangkok. In Phra Khanong, there's one thing that's missing around here, and that is a cinema. But it wasn't like that back in the day. There were 5 different cinemas to choose from. This is the intersection with Sukhumvit 71, which is also known as Soi Phra Khanong, but more famously, it was named after a much revered politician and professor, Pridi Banomyomg. Now, his history is very complex, so I've left the link to the Wikipedia page in the description. This is the former entrance to the London Theatre, and as you can see from across the road, the frontage and the sign is still there, missing the O in London, of course. Now, if we walk through this alleyway, are we going to find any remnants of the old auditorium itself? Let's take a look. Well, not a trace of the old London Theatre auditorium itself. It used to be at the end where the blue building is now, and a very polite gentleman told me it closed down 30 years ago. It had 4 screens, but I tell you what I'm loving, all this 1960s architecture looks great. Some of you might think my enthusiasm for local history is a little bit geeky, but this is YouTube and someone's got to do it. Well, as you can see, there is the front of another old theatre, and underneath there you can go into Phra Khanong Market. We'll have a quick look around the market, and then I'm going to investigate what's left of that old theatre. In the middle of Phra Khanong Market here, the last remaining structure of any of the old cinemas in Phra Khanong is still standing. It opened in 1960 as the Phra Khanong Rama Theatre. It was later known as the Watana Theatre, closed in 2002. The other day I managed to sneak in there, get a few photographs without the guy knowing. It was very dusty, a lot of bird shit all over the floor. The auditorium itself was pitch black, and there were no seats. I had to walk around the sides, and there's quite a few hazards as well. There's no electricity in there. Plus, there's a couple of old movie posters that I'm still trying to identify. So just behind me, across the road there, is the other entrance to the Phra Khanong Rama Theatre. And you can probably see it just up in the corner there. That's the Bloom condo. That has a connection with our final old cinema in Phra Khanong. Our final piece of the jigsaw, that is the cinematic history of Phra Khanong, is just across the road here. It's the old Asia Rama Theatre, and the Bloom condo now sits on that site. Last time I came to Phra Khanong to shoot a video, the W market was not open for obvious reasons. Anyway, it's very much open now for business. Great place to eat, drink and hang out. The cinematic theme is reflected in our guest today. He's a Hollywood veteran. He's been there, almost done it. He's got lots of stories to tell. He lives here in Phra Khanong. He's got over 100 videos on his YouTube channel. I'm going to be meeting Bruce in about 10 minutes time here at Jay's Bar and Cafe.
I lived in Los Angeles for 20 plus years. I was born and raised in California, San Diego originally. But I lived in LA off and on from 1999 till, actually 97 till a year and a half ago.
You had a shop selling high-end mattresses.
Even though I'm a very, very small store, I have access to a lot of the biggest manufacturers in the furniture industry. I carry a full selection of memory foam and hybrid mattresses. I have your innerspring mattresses. I have everything that you could possibly want at very low pricing. I had 4 shops at one point called Hollywood Mattress. I sold anywhere from entry level to mid to higher tier mattresses, and I had several locations, and I sold the business 2 years ago, right at the start of COVID.
Good timing.
It was always a dream of mine to be like a name actor. As a matter of fact, one of my very first jobs in the industry was working as a stand-in for Billy Zane on Titanic. My friend Jason, named Jason Good, we went to an open audition for background, which are the people who go left and right in the background scenes. And for some reason, I dressed up as a cowboy with the hat. I did not get the job, but my friend Jason was Leonardo DiCaprio's stand-in on Titanic for the whole duration. And I would go visit him every other weekend in Mexico where it was shooting, and they offered me a job. I wanted to pursue acting. I thought I'd be the next big star. And I happened to go to Hong Kong in 1999, and I just walked to the Shaw Brothers production company and spoke to someone there and showed them what I can do, because I did martial arts for 7 years. And I was very good and very flexible and could do lots of flashy stuff.
What style of Kung Fu?
It's called Choi Lei Foot. It's a Southern style. Learned in San Diego, did that for 7 years. And so I showed them what I can do in Hong Kong. They said, "We like you, we think you'll do well, meet with our partners in Los Angeles." And I met with them, and they're like, "We like you, you're very energetic, you're a good-looking guy. What's your favorite Shaw Brothers film?" And I drew a blank. I had no idea. And after all that positivity, I never heard back from them again. What could have been, because I wanted to not only break into acting, but stunt work.
Yeah. What is your favorite Shaw Brothers film?
To this day, I can't even tell you.
Back to LA. What was your next move?
Did some commercials, but nothing major. I mean, I did some TV shows, but like one line here or there. It just never really took off for me. And eventually I ended up opening my mattress store in Los Angeles. And the idea for me opening up the mattress store was, I can open up a business and have someone run it while I do auditions. I shot a movie about a year ago, maybe 4 months ago in Texas, a horror film called Christmas Slasher. It's coming out soon. But I did that because I have friends in the industry, and sometimes they'll say, "Hey Bruce, would you like to do something? Let's have fun, let's play."
Was it a speaking part?
Yes, absolutely. It was a speaking part. And I don't know if I'm giving it away, but they did not have enough time to kill me, so it looks like I may be in the sequel.
Tell us about the parties. You were in Los Angeles, well, in Hollywood, looking for acting roles, but you also went to lots of parties at a particular mansion. You might have heard of it.
I've been numerous times, every weekend, and multiple times during the week. I would go to house parties. We're talking big mansions, on the beach sometimes, open bar, free food, celebrity chefs. And that's a lifestyle that I'm not experiencing here, and I do miss it.
Okay. So you're thinking of heading back to Los Angeles shortly?
I am, probably within the next 2 to 3 months. This was not supposed to be a permanent move.
Yeah.
I came here for 2 reasons. One was Muay Thai, and I wanted to get back in shape, back to what I looked like 20 plus years ago, and signed up. My very first day of class, I tore a back muscle. I had to go to the hospital, do some rehabilitation, and even now it still bothers me, and this took place in October.
Yeah.
And the other reason was I've always wanted to pursue YouTube, and I wanted to try it out, and my goal was to make 100 videos, and I'm pretty much there.
We're going to visit a temple where there's probably, I would say, Thailand's most famous ghost. But you're looking to do a video on YouTube in a haunted hotel.
Yes, I am a YouTuber here.
Yeah. Eat, drink, travel.
Eat, drink, travel. I would like to do a video on me staying overnight in a haunted hotel room, maybe a place where someone actually died in that room I'm in.
That's a lot to ask to get a hotel to admit to that.
Well,
watch out for that.
I've always been interested in ghost stories and the supernatural, and back in 2003, 2005, I remember I was living in California at the time, and I was washing my clothes, washer dryer, about 1 o'clock in the morning, and just out of the blue, I just looked up and I just felt something, and I said, "Dad, are you dead?" And about 45 minutes, an hour later, my Aunt Letitia, she called me up and said, "Your dad died."
Wow.
It had never happened. I mean, even like when my mom passed away 8 years ago, that never happened. But when my dad passed away, something just happened, and I felt that he died. And I mean, I've always believed in the supernatural and ghosts, and I don't know if I'll ever see a ghost. I would love to encounter one. I just don't want to get killed. If any of your viewers know of a place, like a hotel or an apartment that I could stay in overnight that is haunted, I would love to know.
Yes, I mentioned Asia Hotel,
Bangkok
Sky Tower, because I've done them in videos, but I don't know the origin of the ghosts in either of those hotels, so I can't say, go to this room, go to that room. You could hang around for a couple of nights in the Asia Hotel. You might feel something or wake up and see something, but I think you want something a bit more haunted than that, don't you?
I would actually, yes, I would like to wake up screaming.
Okay. If anyone knows, get in touch. Bruce's
Please.
Details are in the description. All right, cheers, Bruce. We're going to get out and about. One thing I used to love doing back in England was browsing second-hand stores and charity shops. You never know what kind of bargains you're going to pick up, and some of it I even sold on eBay. In Phra Khanong, there are a couple of decent second-hand stores where you can pick up clothes, electronics, bric-a-brac, all kinds of stuff, but there's a distinct lack of books in either of those stores. Phra Khanong used to be the place where the middle classes came shopping and watched movies. There used to be a branch of the Japanese department store Daimaru around here. That was on Sukhumvit +1. Just opposite Jay's Bar and Cafe was the location of the very popular and famous Thai Daimaru department store, Japanese owned. They had a bigger store on Rajadamri Road opposite where Central World is now. And what I wanted to do was try and fade an old picture of the department store in with a present day shot that I took a little bit earlier. Despite all the development around here over the last 2 decades, Sukhumvit Road in Phra Khanong still retains much of the facade of 1960s architecture, urban decay, or vacant plots of land like this one. This has been up for sale for over 5 years. Phra Khanong market is a lot bigger than it looks. It goes all the way up to the edge of the Phra Khanong canal here, and there are a couple of piers where you can catch boats up and down the canal. Be careful on one of them, it's not in great shape, watch your step, but the boatman is waiting there to take anyone who wants to go in either direction. 15 years ago, this part of the market was sinking. It was rebuilt with brand new buildings, gave the market a new lease of life. And this is also where you can get your hair cut with a choice of about 10 different barbers under the flyover here. It's the old Calabot market. As the Phra Khanong canal goes through Phra Khanong pumping station, it gets a bit of a clean-up. And looking down here at the water, it looks pretty swimmable. But I didn't bring my Speedos or my budgie smugglers, as they are known in Australia. Anyway, if I had to choose a place to live here in Phra Khanong, I would choose one of these condos up here. You get a great view both sides. That way, you get a view of the river. This side, you get a nice view of the pumping station. You get the Phra Khanong Canal, the Koh Klang Island community, the expressway, the SkyTrain, everyone's a winner. But if you go to ground level and look up and you see the contrast between the wooden houses and these big condos looming over them, it is a bit of a blot on the skyline. Well, that just about wraps things up here in Phra Khanong. I hope you've enjoyed this exploration of an area I've been to before, but I felt I had to come back because, as I said, it's one of my favourite parts of the city. Please subscribe, like and comment if you want to support the channel. You can buy me a coffee or join the channel and become a member. That would be absolutely fantastic. That just leaves me to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.